Good afternoon. Thanks for this introduction. Thanks for welcoming the European Commission in this event. It's a very important event. And thanks to the Slovenian government to have taken this initiative to be in the lead with amongst other EU countries and to have already seized all the opportunities that blockchain could bring. I'm Pierre Marot. I'm working for the DG Directorate General Connect, which is the department of the European Commission in charge of the digital single market. And I'm working at first for a unit which is called Startup and Innovation. So I've been asked today to address a little bit the regulation aspect, but I would like to say that our first inclination is to support the entrepreneur, is to support businesses to grow, to seize new opportunities and to grow all across Europe. And when we think about regulation, we have always to keep in mind that we want also to promote innovation and opportunity to do new things with new technology. Okay. I don't want to explain what is blockchain to you. I think that you are probably some of you are probably most knowledgeable, but as it has been already stressed by Minister Koprivnica, it represents really great opportunities and great opportunities to think even the internet, which was a great part of an entirely new economy, but with something like blockchain, we have the opportunity also to rethink what is the internet, or at least what the way the digital services are delivered today. And it brings a lot of opportunity in order to change also the models. We can think about more decentralized model, people more directly in control, improve efficiency regarding the exchange that are being done through those services. So it's particularly important that Europe act in order to help all the businesses, the entrepreneur, but also the citizen to take the opportunity in terms of business, but in terms of services also that can be represented by blockchain. And the important things that when we talk about blockchain is that it's not only something which represents an important opportunity, but when we want to think about the implication of the blockchain, we have also to realize that it is still a technology which is in early stage. Even if Bitcoin was introduced nearly than a decade ago, but maybe the Bitcoin case is a big tree that still hides a forest of new innovation, but all those innovations are coming through technology which is still fast evolving and for which it's difficult to appraise already today what will be all the implications. And in terms of thinking about how to regulate or how to thinking about what are all the legal consequences of blockchain, this is something that we have still to acknowledge that we are still in the early stage of blockchain. And I say blockchain, but you have seen on one of these slides that it's about blockchain-inspired technology, because I don't want to enter into a semantic discussion about what is blockchain, what is a distributed ledger technology. But we see with the blockchain, with the technology that is underpinning Bitcoin, already today, all the ramifications, all the novelties that have been introduced, and we know that these things are continuing to evolve. And we know that there are still a lot of technological challenges also to address. Again, when we talk about blockchain, there are two important distinctions to make. Is first, if we are talking about the blockchain as a technology, as a type of infrastructure that underpin different services, and if we are talking about blockchain at the application level. And when we, again, to anticipate about the regulation, when it's often the application which are regulated more than the technology. Another important aspect is to consider the context in which those blockchain can be used. You know that it could be used in what we call a public blockchain in permissionless environment. That it's like in Bitcoin, I mean, it's open to anyone, and anyone can play a specific role, mining role, even if the evolution makes that it's not so easy for anyone to play a mining role, but by design, it's open to anyone. Then you could have public blockchain, which are subject to some condition where some specific role are given to specific entities or organizations. And you could also consider the blockchain in the more private areas where the rules are fixed in more specific context, and also the way to govern the blockchain is done in a more specific context. And if we are thinking about the entire range of applications that is going to come and is already coming from blockchain, you have to keep those different contexts in mind. And it's not the same thing to regulate some blockchain which is fully open, and it's not the same thing to regulate the use of blockchain for specific services in specific context. Well, again, here I listed all the benefits which are brought by blockchain. I mean, the decentralization aspect, the fact that we can share a database, the fact that we have a guarantee by the system itself through a network of the transaction, of the exchanges, or of the smart contracts, which means the execution of a specific task. This is something which is really important. There is also, perhaps I would like to insist as part of this list about the tokenization aspect, which is really also a big new novelties introduced by blockchain. I mean, this tokenization aspect, a token could be a cryptocurrency. This is the case in Bitcoin. It could be also a way to finance your project. This is what we see now is a booming phenomenon of ICO, initial coin offering. It could be also a way to reward a participant in a network. It could be so it is something where I consider that we are far to have understood all the implications of this tokenization, but it is something which is really powerful in a way to engage people for using this type of technology, and for, in particular, for exploiting this technology for specific services. Here we are, and I don't want to be too long because we could spend all the afternoon trying to identify all the regulatory concern or the legal concern which raise as the technology evolve and as we see all the opportunities that that blockchain can bring to us. But the first message I would like to deliver is that at this stage, it's not because blockchain itself is not regulated that the applications are not regulated. And in many cases today, the use of blockchain will fall into regulated areas. The second type of message, which works for blockchain as for other technology, I'm thinking about artificial intelligence, is that we need to evolve toward a regulatory system which should be a bit, I would say, future-proof, innovation-friendly, and a bit more agile in order that we can keep pace of all the new implications implied by the technology. And it's not an easy task. I mean, if maybe you are not all familiar with the way the regulation is processed at European level, but I mean, we have a cycle of innovation, and it's difficult to keep pace with all the implications brought by a breakthrough like blockchain. And this is something where, and it's not only at the Commission level, it's at first at member state level, we need also to think about how to adapt our regulation in order to be able to deal with those breakthroughs. And here you have probably heard about this concept of regulatory innovation hubs or sandbox, which is actually a way for regulators or supervisors to be more directly in touch with innovators, with the startups, or also corporate companies that innovate. And this is something which is particularly relevant to address. And in the case of blockchain, we fully understand, or you fully understand, that it cannot be done in Slovenia only. It cannot be done. It has to be. We have to take into consideration the distributed nature of blockchain, and the fact that if you deploy a service through blockchain, it will cross boundaries, which means that we need to have a global response, a global regulatory response that if it cannot be global at the health level, at least it is something that we need to address at European level. And for that, we need to have the more harmonized approach when we talk about regulation or the way to deal with the legal implication of blockchain. If you see on this slide, there is a long list of topics which are addressed through regulations that are impacted in a way or the other through blockchain. Data protection and privacy, obviously, it is very often when we talk about with entrepreneurs, they are very concerned about what will be allowed, what will be not allowed under the General Data Protection Regulation. Here again, I think that and it was stressed by the minister, it's important to understand in which context we are involving, and probably the GDPR will not have the same consequence regarding the use of blockchain, depending the type of activities that you implement with it. The anonymity, I mean, in one way, in relation to the data protection, anonymity is something good, which is proposed in blockchain. It's good for the right to be forgotten, because the right to be forgotten doesn't apply. At the same time, when you use blockchain for some specific services, in particular in the financial areas, there are needs to, by the regulation, there are requirements concerning know your customers or the counterfeit of terrorism activities, where we need to deal with this anonymization aspect. The validity, the legal validity of a contract, a smart contract, or the legal validity of an evidence that is stored on the blockchain in front of a court is also one issue, a more legal issue that will need also to be addressed. And the status of cryptocurrency, it's not regulated at the same time for the time being. At the same time, you have some countries that allows the use of cryptocurrency as a means of payment. So here again, we have to progress. And there is one point where I would like also to insist, because it's really a booming phenomenon this year. It's about the ICOs. Initial coin offerings. 1 year ago, I mean, nobody talked about ICOs, or at least it was very visionary or techie person. Now we have seen that probably by the end of the year, all over the world, there will be something like 2.5 billion euro or dollars that will have been raised through an ICOs. And when you think about ICOs, what is an ICO? Is it securities? Is it commodities? Is it a subscription to a project? Is it buying of services? Is it like a crowdfunding? I mean, we have a lot of interesting questions like that. We have started to be addressed by, for instance, the ESMA, the European Supervisory Market Authorities. They are thinking about it, and I think this is something for which we should not be too long in order to take some position at EU level in order to clarify what is an IPO and the way it should be regulated. But in some case, if we consider that IPOs is close to security, it will be regulated by the MiFID directive at EU level. So just to, it's an enormous challenge that we have in front of us, and it's not something that will be addressed at the Commission level only, because if we are thinking about the way to adapt our approach to regulate those type of technology, the way that we need to be more agile through innovation hubs or regulatory sandbox, the way that we are talking about distributed technology, it means that we need to have this harmonized approach. If something is done in Slovenia in a way, but it's done completely differently in Spain or in France, I mean, it will be difficult for a startup to develop these services all across Europe. So for that, what is really important is that you do not expect a regulation coming from Europe only, but we engage all together in a dialogue that will help to adopt a harmonized approach, and probably also harmonized regulation regulation at European level but this harmonized approach is particularly relevant. This is something which is a clear outcome, not only for blockchain, but for the fintech in general, that have been outlined through an open consultation that was launched this year. So this is really something on which we want to work. So to summarize, because it was your question about what the Commission is doing or is planning to do, actually, I mean, we are convinced, like you, that blockchain is a great opportunity that Europe should not miss in order to establish a new type of leadership for the digital economy. I mean, we are convinced that more and more services will be based on blockchain, that blockchain will be a core element underpinning those services. There is a lot of value for that. In order to engage in this type of dialogues that I've stressed before, we are indeed going to launch what we call a European Observatory and Forum, and I insist on the word forum. That is not only to monitor the trends, what is happening in blockchain, but also to engage a dialogue. And this dialogue should be with member state representatives, with member state regulatory bodies, but also with those who want to transform public administration with the technology of blockchain, with the startup ecosystem, and of course with industry. Not to say the citizen, because blockchain, it was also highlighted in the first intervention, blockchain is also a good way to serve differently and in better ways the citizen. But already, if this instrument is to be, we consider this instrument, it will be a good tool to initiate this dialogue and to engage all stakeholders in what we want to do for blockchain. What we want to do for blockchain is first to provide the best framework condition. And those conditions concern the provision of more legal certainty in order for the entrepreneurs to develop their solution, for people to use it without too big concern. It's also to work on the governance. I mean, as I say, you have different types of blockchain. Those blockchain could be governed in a way or the other. Governance is probably one important part in order to keep the trust that was also mentioned by the minister and that was in one of my slides. So in the end, if blockchain is about trust, we need to ensure that we maintain this trust. And if trust can always be ensured by mathematics or algorithmics, we need to find also the additional level of governance that will make this trust to continue. We have also to work on interoperability. I mean, can we imagine that there will be a single blockchain where everything will be interoperable? Probably not. In different sectors of the industry, different countries, things could evolve differently. And we have to ensure some good level of interoperability. And we have also to work on standardization. As I said, we are still in early stage. People have to understand what we are talking about, what are the concepts, the same things. And eventually standardization will also help to have a cheaper solution or to avoid to be locking with some specific solution providers. For that, we are already engaged at the EU level with the work of the International Standardization Organization, the ISO. So this is something where we have already taken some steps. What we can do in addition to that, we can also support pilot projects. I'm also in one of these Directorate General in charge of the big program for research and innovation, Horizon 2020. And thanks to this program, we can support pilot projects. And one of the added value could be that we support a project which are at a level of partnership that it will facilitate the upscale of blockchain technology. What a lot of people who are testing blockchain, and very often it is still at a proof of concept level, is to tell us we need to work in order to be at this stage where we can make our solution scalable. So I don't want to say that thanks to Horizon 2020 there will be no more problem of scalability, but at least it is a good framework in order to convene a large number of partners from different countries in order to test or to propose a technology approach. Finally, we want also to work on how we could prepare a transformation also of the public services and to make the best with blockchain. And so this is, we have, for instance, a regular interaction with our colleagues from different DG, from the DG in charge of the taxation, from the DG in charge of climate change, for the DG in charge of energy, transport, and we see a high interest in different Commission services about how to use blockchain in support of EU policy. But of course, those EU policy rely to a great extent to what is done in member states. This is why if we prepare for EU services, it's also a matter of evolving and having a dialogue with initiative in member states. And we are also thinking about to which extent we will need a kind of European blockchain infrastructure. I mean, I don't want to say that it is the technological solution, but it could be a set of rules, of governing rules to ensure interoperability. So this is something that we would like to launch. So to summarize my intervention, even if it's maybe not too visible for the time being, but indeed, yes, we are thinking very strongly about what to do with blockchain or what to do for blockchain, for the entrepreneurs building on a blockchain solution. And I would like to close my intervention by stating that yesterday at the European Council there was a discussion on the digital Europe, I mean the digital aspect, and as part of the priorities that have been stressed, blockchain is named as one of the emerging technology for which we need to find a way to keep pace of all the implications that are brought by this technology. So again, in conclusion, blockchain is very high on the European agenda, and I'm honored to be here with you to share your view about it. Thank you.